Well, without much further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting personally, my name is Shane Greer. I'm the General Manager of North America, and it's a privilege to be the General Manager of North America right now for Synergy. I've been with the company going on almost 2 years, and it's been an incredible privilege. I've got to meet many of you, and it's been a true honor. And I'm excited for some of the news that we have for you this evening. There's a buzz in North America right now like I've never seen before. We have some incredible speakers, and I don't want to take too much time away from them, so we're going to go get right to it. The first person I want to introduce is the president of our company, a good friend of mine, excellent businessman, and really knows Synergy in and out, been with the company an extremely long time, is a great person who mentors me day in and day out. I want to turn it over to the president, Mr. Dan Norman. Dan, are you there and can you hear me?
Yes, Shane, I can hear you. Thanks. I appreciate that introduction. And I want to welcome everybody to this important call, all of our team members throughout the United States and Canada. Welcome. We have an exciting call lined up for you tonight. And like Shane said, you know, there's a real buzz going on at Synergy worldwide right now, especially here in America. You know, tonight you're going to hear from a couple of very special and important people. First off, you're going to hear from the Chairman and CEO of our parent company, Greg Probert. And following Greg, you're going to hear from our founder, Dan Higginson. And I'm sure Dan's going to tell you how he's been traveling around the United States, spreading the word and talking about our focus of coming to America. And a big part of that is the strategy that we've laid out. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to talk about what's going to take Synergy from being a good company to a great company. So all of you have made the right choice to invest your time to be on this webinar tonight. And I think you're going to find it very exciting. You're going to feel the same way that I feel and Shane feels. Because as the president, I see what's going on across the globe at Synergy Worldwide. And in our mind, we are ready to come right in our backyard, right in our own front yard, and really take care of business here in the United States and Canada. And it's a pleasure for me to be the president and see what's happening and get excited about what's happening. So tonight, you know, take notes. Things are changing at Synergy, and we're going to go from a good company to a great company. So again, welcome to the call. Looking forward to coming to America. And with that, I'd like to introduce my boss and a person that has incredible vision, incredible leadership, and has really got my vision of what Synergy can become to really expand. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Chairman and CEO of Nature Sunshine Products, Mr. Greg Probert.
Hey everybody, it's great to be on the call with you tonight. Really excited to have this opportunity to talk about what I think is really a tidal wave that's coming to America. We are talking about the renaissance of Synergy USA. And this is our home market, and we have everything in the US that we need to be successful. And we need to stop thinking little. I think we can blow up the US business in a way we've never seen before. And I'm not talking about 5% growth or 10% growth. I think the US business can be a $100 million business in the next few years. We're going to talk about why I believe that tonight. But I think a couple of things to think about. Can we make that? Is it achievable? I have no doubt. Two things lead me to believe that. One is I've done it before. At another company who I was running, we took the U.S. from a couple $100 million to over $800 million in a few years. It's doable. This is the largest direct selling market in the world. We have great leaders in this market, all of you. We have fantastic products. We're going to talk about some of the new products coming, but we don't even have to wait for those. You guys built this business around the world. If you look at Synergy, Synergy is a huge business. By itself, without NSP, it's one of the top 75 direct selling companies in the world. But I'm not satisfied with that. I think we should be in the top 15, top 10. And that's where we should do. And it all starts here in the US. So if you're willing to commit to put in the time, we as a company are willing to commit to putting the resources and everything necessary to blow up the US business. And you guys are what we need. But let's talk about Synergy. You guys know it was founded in 1999. I know Dan Higginson's on the line with us, who founded this great company. And we're thriving. We're in 28 markets around the world. In the past 4 years, we've doubled the size of this business. That's really, really impressive. I can tell you there's not too many MLMs, direct selling companies out there that have doubled. We're debt-free. We're owned by nature's sunshine. We have the best manufacturing, the best quality, the best science in the world. We've never missed a check. We're publicly traded. We operate with integrity. So it's just a great, great company to be part of. And I know you guys believe that, and I believe it. And I'm really proud to be the chairman and CEO of this great, great company. But I think we're nowhere close to where we can be. And so I want to talk about how we're going to go from good to great. And I want to start with a little bit of a couple other companies I'm pretty familiar with. One is a company I spent 13 years of my life at, the Walt Disney Company. And again, it started out as a little company doing cartoons and then some television programs and then a little place called Disneyland a little over 60 years ago. And this all started because Walt Disney had a dream. And now you look at the Walt Disney Company today, and it's a $35 billion revenue company, market cap over $100 billion. Almost every brand you can imagine they own. The #1 entertainment company in the world. And they did this because they never lost sight of who they are, but they changed the way they did business. They were willing to open their eyes and they were willing to change with the times. But they never lost what they were. They were always about family entertainment. They were always about creating great content. They just found different ways of doing that. And so they went from a little tiny company to now the largest entertainment company and one of the top 3 brands in the entire world. Another little company started with computers, right? Steve Jobs started this company with one idea, to empower people. So he did it with computers. Then he did it with music. Then he did it with smartphones. Now he's doing it with Apple Pay and with Apple TV. If you look at what they morphed into, they went from a good company, again, to a great company. So we need to think about, as we make this journey from good to great, and we look back 5 years from now, and we say this was an inflection point in the history of Synergy US. We have an opportunity to take this company, take this US business from good to great. And that's going to ride on all of your shoulders as well as all of us at corporate. We are here to support you and give you everything you need in the US business to make that happen. My dream is to make Synergy a $500 million company. Today we're $130 million. That means we have to double the business over the next 18 to 24 months, and then the next 2 years double it again. And then we'll be at a rightful place as one of the top 15 direct selling companies in the world. That's without NSP. That's just Synergy on a standalone basis. And we should do that. If you look around, right now, Korea is our largest market. They do over $50 million. So if they can do that, there's no reason the US can't do 100 million, and even greater. But let's talk about 100 million. From where we are today, 100 million, that's going to get us to 500 million because Europe's growing, Asia is exploding right now, Japan's up, Indonesia's up, Thailand's up, Korea's up. They're all just blowing up the business. And now we got to focus that attention, that energy, that passion to our US business. I think what we need to do that, to get the $500 million for Synergy around the world, is we need one message, we need one product system, and we need one company. We need to stand for the same thing around the world. So whether we are talking about an Italian distributor, a Korean distributor, an Indonesian distributor, or a US distributor, or a Canadian distributor, and ultimately our Latin American distributors in the future, that they all understand what Synergy stands for, they all understand what Synergy sells, and they all understand that we have one brand and one message and one product system. And I think in order to do that, then we'll be a great company. So tonight, I want to spend a little time talking about what great companies do. And all great companies do three things very, very well. One, they fill a need. Two, they fill a need that's held by a lot of people. So they are compelling opportunity for a large segment of the population. And the third thing that all great companies do is they're differentiated. They make sure that through building their brand and building their product and building their sales organizations, that no one else can copy them. So I want to talk to you about how I believe we can do that with synergy and how we can then use that to take this company to $500 million over the next 4 years. On the product side, we believe the answer is elite health. So what is elite health? Elite health is a science-based, innovative, proprietary program that holistically improves your total health. Not just one aspect of your health, but your total health, with the focus on elevating your performance and unlocking your true potential. So we believe by launching Elite Health around the world, that we all have the same story, have the same product concept, that this gives us that first mover advantage, and ultimately it's differentiated in the marketplace. So we're going to be the first ones talking about it, and we're going to be the only ones talking about it in a way that we have a proprietary program that is going to be unique to Synergy. Let's talk about, are we solving a problem? So if you look at the problem today, we have a toxic diet. We eat too much of the wrong foods, too much processed foods, too much salt, too much everything that's not good for you. And this has created a health epidemic around the world. UCLA just released a study that showed for the first time in human history, there's more overweight people than underweight people. More people are dying of obesity than starvation. That's never, ever happened in the history of the world. For thousands of years, it's always been the other way around. So in spite of having more pharmaceuticals than ever before, having more access to healthcare than ever before, more information than ever before, we're sicker than ever before. Lifestyle contributes to that. So again, around the world, sedentary lifestyle choices, lack of exercise, alcohol, tobacco, like I said, the wrong foods. Environment is another contributor to toxins in our body. So whether it's the air supply, the food supply, the soil, the water, we're polluting our planet, and this is all manifesting itself. These toxins are in our body, and they are attacking your core. They manifest themselves in the heart. So you look at heart disease, stroke. They hinder lung and digestive systems. So think about lung cancer, COPD, respiratory infections. Think about autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. Think about all these things. And we believe what this creates is toxicity and metabolic dysfunction. So what that means is our toxic environment is creating a toxic environment within us. And the question is not whether you're toxic. The question is, how toxic are you? Everybody has this issue in every country around the world. So that's why we believe we're solving a problem, and that's why we believe it's a problem that's compelling, and it affects everybody in this world. So what's our answer? Our answer is to improve this metabolic function through creating a healthy gut microbiome. And only through this way can you then attack all the problems bad gut biome created, such as inflammation, such as pre-diabetes or insulin resistance, such as cardiovascular disease, such as neurological diseases. And only then can you unlock your true potential as a human being. So if you think about this, there is massive amounts of science emerging that says this is an incredibly relevant issue. You can see them on your screen, but massive amounts of scientific journals, mainstream books on microbiome, on 10% human that talks about the geome, the microbiome diet, the good gut. You can talk to doctors like Dr. Perlmutter, Dr. Oz, Dr. Hayden, all these doctors believe that the gut biome is the center of human health. And therefore, until you fix that, nothing else you do matters, because you're just fixing the symptoms. So again, this is a relevant issue. It's an emerging issue. This is bleeding edge science, and we're at the forefront of this, and we're going to own this category. We're going to give you the products. We're going to give you the understanding. We're going to give you the science. The other thing I said great companies do is they're differentiated. It's great to be talking about the gut biome, but there's a lot of people talking about it. It's great to have products to fix it, but people are going to have that. So how do we make sure that you have a unique offering, that you're not only the first talking about this, but you have a permanent point of difference? That's why we've invested millions and millions of dollars in the Hughes Center for Research and Innovation. We have PhDs and medical doctors, some of the top scientists in the world, working on these products so that we can come up with not only innovative, but proprietary, and in the case of some of our products, actually patented products that are unique. And so Dr. Matt Tripp, who is our Chief Scientific Officer, and his staff of PhDs and medical doctors work around the clock trying to discover new products, new innovation to help with this mega trend of gut metabolic syndrome, lack of proper metabolic function, and again, attacking this all through a gut biome story. So how are we going to do that? What's elite health look like? It's going to have two steps to it. The first step is purification. You have to detoxify your body. So the purification will be a week to 30-day program. We're still working exactly on it, and we're working with the leadership in the U.S. we met with a couple of weeks ago to help us figure out exactly what's the right configuration of this. But what we will tell you is it will tie into the compensation plan so that going through this program, your initial buy and your auto ship ties into the activation of your business centers, because we understand that the product configuration absolutely has to tie into the marketing and compensation plan. So this program will detoxify your body, and I don't mean cleanse, I mean detoxify. This will activate liver detoxification, remove heavy metals, fight air pollution. All the things that I talked about that are toxifying your body, we have to reverse that. We have to clean out the gut biome. We have to eliminate those toxins, right? We have to lubricate the gut biome so it can accept the nutrients. And then we have to rebuild the gut biome. So that's what this elite health will do, the first step of it. Second step is what we call fortify and protect. So once we purify and rebuild your digestive system, your gut biome, then we have to fortify and protect your body from these environmental toxins. So we will launch a series of programs around the systems that are actually attacked from these toxins. So again, whether it's cardiovascular with a heart kit, whether it's obesity that's been triggered by a poor gut biome and inability to properly absorb nutrients, we'll have a weight management kit. For those people that have autoimmune and immune deficiencies, again, caused by a poor gut biome, we'll have an immunity kit. Same thing with personal, same thing with fitness, and a general gut biome kit. So the idea is that people will go onto these in auto ship and maneuver from one kit to another to address whatever concern that they have, and then ultimately go on a biome maintenance kit for the rest of their life, which will not only fortify but protect themselves against creating a toxic environment again. So we're very, very excited about this. Like I said, we're working with all the leadership currently in order to bring this product to market this year. We believe that this will revolutionize what we're doing. We're launching this in Asia, Synergy Asia, in our November summit. We're looking to launch it in Europe later in the year, and we want to bring this to the U.S. as well. And the other thing I want to talk briefly about is there's no time better than today to get started. So we met with the leaders. We said, let's set a goal for April, May of sponsoring 1,000 new people into this company. We have a great story. We have a great future. We have a great history. We have great leadership. We have corporate that's willing to support the U.S. business in any way we need to do to make you guys successful. And if we can kickstart this by getting 1,000 new team members signed up over the next 60 days, then we're going to be on a great start to that $100 million business in the U.S. So I'm really, really excited to be able to share that with you. I couldn't be more excited about the U.S. I think our theme of coming to America is probably long overdue, but we're going to do it. And with that, I'd like to turn the call over to someone that I have a lot of respect for. I'm glad to call a friend, the founder of our company, Dan Higginson. Dan, you on?
Gentlemen, ladies, I appreciate getting on this call. I endorse everything that's been said. There's not a whole lot more to say other than I just want to jump out of my truck and jump on the hood of my truck and start singing the Neil Diamond song, Coming to America, because I've waited for this day for a long time. And I want to be crystal clear as I've traveled around to Florida and San Antonio and Atlanta and been on all these conference calls from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. David Davidson and many others can vouch for that. I want to be crystal clear about something. We've had distributors in the United States of America since the day we opened in Japan in 1999. But we've never had a CEO at Nature's Sunshine since the acquisition. In fact, in the beginning, they didn't want us to have anything to do with the United States just because of the Nature's Sunshine business, and that was their thriving market. But today, folks, we have a CEO who's been with the company that went from $300 million to $800 million. He's been with Disney when they went from $3 billion to $30 billion or higher. I think it was $33 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And I sat down with him for lunch after a March 4th visit down in Florida. And I said, Greg, it's time. It's time that we come to America with full resources, with enthusiasm, with passion to help people leave a legacy in their lives. And he agreed. And that's why we're on this call tonight. And I want to endorse the elite body system. I want to endorse elite health, and I'll tell you why. I had the opportunity to sit with Dr. Matt Tripp, who heads up the Hughes Center for Innovation, and he said to me crystal clear, he said, Dan, you believe you got the #1 supplement in the world in arginine, don't you? And I said, absolutely, I know so. I've seen it in 28 markets. I've seen the results. I've seen what it's done for humanity. It's unbelievable. On that product alone, we could build this to 100 million in our sleep, 150 million in our sleep. But then Greg come along, and he shared a vision of what elite health is. And then Dr. Tripp validated that vision by saying, Dan, you know how great arginine is right now, and you know how great it's working in our clinical trials and the High Desert Institute of Cardiac Health and all the other things that it's gotten accolades for. And I said, yeah. He says, imagine that increasing several percentage points as far as efficacy based on getting the gut biome correct. I got so excited, guys. I got chills running up both arms. I'm so excited I can't even sleep at night because we're coming to America. America's my home country. It's what I love. I have 2 granddads, Purple Heart Award winners. One crossed the Rhine River on Patton's front line, was shot 3 times. Never shook his hand because he had a massive heart attack. My other granddad lived up with me till up to 7 years ago. He's one of the greatest men I've ever known. He flew a B-24 Liberator. He gave us the freedom to live in this country. I love our veterans. They're my heroes. They're not network marketing leaders. They're not CEOs of major businesses. They're veterans of this country. And so when we come into this marketplace, I come here with all the passion and vigor that I've ever had in every fiber of my being to take this company to 100 million. Now, Greg says 100 million over 2 years. I'll be shocked, slammed, and disappointed if we're not 350 million in 2 years. I'll be disappointed beyond measure because, as you all know, you can look at Herbalife, Nu Skin, Amway, Shackley. I don't care what company you look at. You'll see that company. I'll just give you the prime example. Nu Skin, 1981 to 1991, went from 63 million in revenue to 511 million in revenue. Why? Because they become branded. They become branded with their entity, their product, their mission. We're on a crusade, folks, to bless lives. That's what we do. We don't need to make medical claims, although if you look at Nature's Sunshine, the #1 manufacturing institution in the world, tests every raw material over 600 separate ways. Then it goes through about 24 checkoffs before it becomes finalized. Then it goes into what they see as efficacy and test for that. Guys, you got to understand something. We don't guess. We test. We test everything we do, all the way from A to Z. Then we ship it over to the Hughes Center. Where we have 2 MDs, and we have a crew of medical doctors, scientists, biochemists, etc., doing clinical work. It's unbelievable. I don't want to make any claims, but I think we're the only one in the world that does that. And if anybody wants to pipe in Dan or Greg and confirm that, that's great. But I can tell you right now, folks, we're in a position where the company's not on trial. Nature's Sunshine was the first company to encapsulate nerve in 1970. You've got Synergy Worldwide has been a standalone for 28 years, in 28 companies for the past 16 years. And here we are coming to America. Guys, I'm just telling you, if you knew for a fact that 2 miles down your road, there was a gold mine, and it was all yours, but there was a big wall in front of you, you're going to figure out how to blow through that wall, crawl over that wall, do whatever you got to do to bless lives, not just your own, but many, many others. Synergy Worldwide is not on trial. The Hughes Center is not on trial. Nature's Sunshine is definitely not on trial. Who's on trial is us. Our field members, our field leaders, the people out sending this message, we're on trial. We're on trial to take the greatest product in the world and expose them and hit that branding mode, which is usually $4 million a month in the United States of America. And that's where people come off the streets looking for you. Instead of you guys going down in the trenches and looking for people to share, show, and sponsor, they're now coming to you because the message is out on elite health. Guys, we're in a position where I have never in my life dreamed I could be. I am so honored and privileged to have founded this company, but I am grateful to know that we haven't even begun. We haven't even started. And top 75 company doesn't do it for me, folks. Top 15 company doesn't do it for me. Well, let me tell you what does. The number one company in the world. And I believe that Nature's Sunshine, their wherewithal, their resources, they're publicly held, they're debt-free. They're a giant in the industry with a golden reputation. And Synergy Worldwide, this marketing arm that has unique products for ourselves, a very unique compensation plan that allows you to go out and partner with the people you love, carrying the door, the very most in this world, that have the most credibility in this world, and match their income dollar for dollar in basic commission. Folks, there's nothing to hold us back. And most importantly, you have the greatest product in the world. You have the greatest field members in the world. But if you don't have the greatest corporate staff and backing, you can't find anything. And what I mean by that is I have all the confidence in the world in Dan Norman. I hired Dan Norman clear back in 2004. I have more confidence in him and our staff than you could ever even dream imaginable. Greg has been the greatest blessing in my life because I'll be honest with you, I love Nature's Sunshine. I feel like I've been the biggest walking billboard for Nature's Sunshine throughout the 28 countries we're in. But I can honestly tell you, I've never felt 100% commitment from the prior CEOs, and I've never felt it coming to America. Well, folks, you just heard it. A gentleman that's a chairman and CEO get on the phone with you tonight and share with you a vision that we're going to implement and we're going to run. Listen, I can only assure you of one thing in this life. The harder you work, the luckier you get, period. My dad taught me that. It was on the fridge every morning. I wanted to murder him when I was going to haul hay at 4 in the morning, and that's what I had to wake up to. The second thing he said is trials and tribulations are mandatory. Misery is optional. Folks, every 42 seconds in this country, somebody passes away from a cardiovascular-related disease. It kills more people than cancer, diabetes, and prescription drugs combined, according to the CDC. So what I'm telling you is we're here to give a 120-day risk-free money-back guarantee to people to go out and use our science in their body to see if they can find the results that can bless their lives. In so doing, we're teaching people how to live every day as though it's their last on earth. Think about that. Think about not being here tomorrow. How would you treat your spouse or your significant other, your children? What would you say to them? What are the things that you would do for them? What kind of knowledge would you like to pass on in 24 hours? The second is to love. Whether you're Caucasian, African-American, Asian, we don't care. We're a Synergy family. What we're doing is we have the most beautiful looking Synergy family you've ever seen because it has all walks of life, every religious preference, every walk of life, educated, undereducated, superstars, underdogs. It's a great family. I love being in the field, talking to these family members on a regular basis. And if you learn, grow, and develop in each of these markets, in each of these cultures, and you respect them, and you give them what they need, then ultimately when we do pass on, I hope for all of us on this call, it's 100 years from now, we'll be remembered for something for decades and decades and generations, and that's leaving a legacy. Being remembered for something bigger and better than you were. You know, I learned that at Covey Leadership Center when I had the opportunity to be a part of interviews with the top 18 business minds in America. People like Peter Drucker, who talked about the convergence model. What does that mean? It means, is the company rock solid? Yes or yes? Just go to Yahoo Finance, put the ticker symbol NATR, and read all about it. Does the company manufacture their own products? Yes or yes. Do they have a huge center for innovation? Yes or yes. Is the timing in the marketplace correct here in America? It's never been better. And people can say, well, Dan, you could say that in the 90s when we had all this global economic power. You can say this in the 2006 when we crashed and burned. But I can say it right now because we have both. We have a fairly good economy, and we have a lot of sick people. So we have the opportunity to go and expose something like never before. And then lastly, you got to have a compensation plan that's fair, rewarding, and lucrative. And I can tell you there's people on this call that have never been able to come in America with full resources that have earned over $10 million. Think about that. But what inspires me every day when I wake up is when I can see Sally Homemaker, who makes an extra $300 to $500 a month and gets a product for free. That's what inspires me. You know why? Because if I can create thousands and thousands of Sally Homemakers, I can create millions and millions of millionaires. And I love that. I've always said since day one, I'll never have Bill Gates' money, nor do I desire it. I think that'd be a big headache. But I can have the ability to be a part of a company that creates more millionaires residually than Bill Gates. And I'm sticking to that. I appreciate Greg, Dan, Shane, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this call. I look forward to being in your market soon. I love the fact that right when I get off this call, we're doing a power call with David Davidson's group, Rick Cox's group. I love the fact that you can go to caseytowns.com/CBR10, and you can see the interview I did with international business leaders yesterday. Folks, we are coming to America, and we're doing it with backing. We're doing it with resources. We're doing it with science. We're doing it with no excuses. So you can either get on this wave and start swimming and ride it, or you can let it drown you. And I'm just here to tell you, I know in my heart, I don't care what your background is, that if you're willing to go out, share, show, and sponsor, a simple system, me plus 3 equals synergy. 1 to the common leg, 2 to the weak leg, and duplicate it over and over and over and over and over again. You're going to find yourself one day blessing thousands of lives through better health and prosperity, and you're going to bless your family with financial wealth that you didn't dream was possible. I know that because I could put Diane Levitt on the spot right now. I could put Mark Homer on the spot right now. I could put Steve Seeley on the spot right now. And every one of them would tell you they knew they'd be successful, but they didn't know they'd be this wildly successful. So with that, God bless everybody, and I'll turn the call back to you, Shane.
All right, can everyone hear me? Hopefully Dan and everyone can hear me. Before I go on, just want to say special thanks to Dan Higginson. He wants me, after listening to Dan, I get so jacked up. I want to go out and just, scream the message to the world. He's an excellent founder, motivator, and he's a straight shooter. And I love being able to, work for a company that he founded, to be honest with you. He has the ability to, make everyone his friend instantly, and great guy. So thanks, Dan, for your message. Guys, just to wrap up the call, I want to talk about next steps. Coming up very shortly, this Friday, we will have an open house on June 3rd and 4th. So June 3rd and 4th, we'll have an open house here at Synergy Worldwide headquarters in Pleasant Grove. And we want to make sure that you register for this. Registration will start this Friday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. There's been 2 blog posts about it. So this Friday at 9 a.m. Mountain, make sure you register for our open house. That'll be a Friday, Saturday event. We'll be touring the Hughes Center on Friday afternoon, evening. And then we'll have an evening session with our founder that you heard from this evening, Dan Higginson. And then we'll receive distributors training on Saturday from some of the top Synergy distributors. So come, be trained, tour the Hughes Center. But most importantly, we have a chairman's challenge right now to sponsor 1,000 people in 2 months. What a great way to introduce them to Synergy by bringing them to our open house on June 3rd and 4th. So registration is limited. We can only take 130 people because that's all that fits in our building. So we want to make sure that you make sure you get yourself and your guests registered and you participate in the chairman's challenge that he's laid out for us. That's 1,000 enrollments by the end of May. So we're looking forward to it. There's a lot of energy right now. And, something Dan said that I want to reflect on is he talked about a wave. You can either catch it or drown in it. And that's totally how I feel right now. We're gonna do this, and we would love for you to be a part of it. So I want to thank each and every one of you. We had an incredible attendance tonight on the webinar, and even without including the people that joined us on the phone line. So just wanted to thank each and every one of you for joining us. We know your time is precious, and your interest is is received loud and clear by the amount of numbers that we got on the webinar and also on the phone this evening. So thank you guys. Have a blessed evening, and we'll see you at our open house on June 3rd and 4th. Thanks. Good evening.